Today's guest is the 45th president of the United States of America, and he's currently running for president on the Republican ticket. He's been an entrepreneur, a businessman, a television personality. We sat down at his club in Bedminster, New Jersey, and we want to thank the crew there for helping us make the production happen. He's one of the most famous people on earth, and I'm grateful for this chance to learn more about the man behind the headlines. Today's guest is Donald Trump.
But your thing is going really great. My son's a big fan of yours, Barron.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
he just graduated high school, right?
That's right. He knows you very well. He said, Dad, he's big.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that's where it is nowadays, right?
Well, it's interesting. You know, I can't believe that we're able to get platforms. And I started in my kitchen, and then this evolved out of there.
That's fantastic.
I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. What's something you admire about each one of your sons?
Well, Don is a hunter. He's a great, great hunter, and knows everything about that world and guns and all. He was the first one that said, Dad, boy, you got lucky, because I didn't realize that 130 yards is actually very close in that parlance. And he said, you got lucky. And Eric, likewise, he loves the business. He loves real estate. Also very much of a hunter and understands a lot of things about that. They were sort of, as young guys, they were with their grandfather, and he would take them hunting in Czechoslovakia. And somehow they developed very well. And
Czechoslovakia,
yeah,
damn.
can you imagine? That's a long time.
Yeah.
How about Dana White?
Yeah.
The job he does, right?
Yeah, I want to thank Dana too for helping get us set up together.
Yeah.
I like Dana. He doesn't waste time. He likes to, I think, be efficient, and he has seems like a strong sense of integrity for himself.
Yeah, nobody like him, actually. It's there's an expression that everybody is replaceable. Not Dana.
Yeah.
And he's made that sport into a big monster sport.
Yeah. UFC became my favorite sport during the pandemic because
Right.
Dana was brave enough to stay open.
He was the whole ball game. He was the only sport, and he'd open up in arenas with nothing other than very good fighters, and they would be fighting. He had some of the best fights during the pandemic.
Yeah. What was the first? Do you remember like the first fight that you ever went to, whether it was UFC or boxing or anything?
Yeah, I do. It was Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali in Madison Square Garden many, many years ago. And I think that was the first fight I went to. I always liked the boxing.
How old were you?
Oh boy, I don't know. You can deduct it from what I am now, but it was a long time ago. But they were two undefeated fighters. Muhammad became a friend of mine. Heart attacks in Madison Square Garden. And the fight was so unbelievable.
I noticed at the events, you don't drink, and you don't drink or smoke, right?
I don't drink or smoke.
You never have.
No, I never have. I had a great brother who taught me a lesson. Don't drink. And he said, don't smoke. He smoked and he drank, and he was a great guy. He was a very handsome guy.
Is he older? He was older?
Quite a bit older, yeah. And he had a problem with alcohol and smoke a lot. But, I tell people, no drugs, no drinking, no cigarettes.
Yeah.
I tell that to my kids all the time. I'd say, no drugs, no drinking, no smoke.
Did you admire him?
Yeah, I admired a lot.
It's a lot of people that they're missing something inside of them, and so they take on so they want to try and fill it up with something else.
Yeah.
You remember the last time that you spent with your brother?
I do, and he'd have periods where he'd get sick, very sick, and we thought we'd lose him or we lost him. Then he'd get better, and that happened 5 or 6 times. Would you say
Opioids?
Bigger than alcohol.
Oh, for sure. That's one of the biggest problems.
And compare that to fentanyl.
Well, that's the problem is people are making fake opioids because they can't afford real ones, or they're just getting them off the street, and then they put fentanyl in them.
Yeah. Fentanyl's like laced into everything now. It's horrible.
So just the fact that there's this whole other almost drug government that's there kind of pushing pushing agendas and influencing things. Like, how do we stop that, man? It just seems like it's obviously killing people. It's like, what do we have to do that our own government won't help us?
Well, you have to stop listening to lobbyists. I was not a big person for lobbyists. And if they have even a little access to like a president or a senator or a congressman or woman,
they're snakes.
They get a lot of money. And in some cases, they just take the money. They don't do anything. But You have a lot of lobbyists in Washington pushing, and certainly a lot for all of the things that we're talking about, including
winning.
Alcohol.
The lobbyists are winning. Can you stop that? Can a president stop that?
Well, one way you could stop it is to say, if you're going to go into government, you can never be a lobbyist. In many cases, they have rules and regulations where you can't do it for 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever.
You mean be a lobbyist after you were an elected official?
I mean, you could.
Is that what you're saying?
You could say that if you're an elected official or if you work in government, you can never be a lobbyist.
One thing that you did, recently we had Bernie Sanders on.
Right.
And
interesting.
Certainly, you guys don't agree on a lot of things, but I think you both acknowledge how horribly rigged the healthcare system is against the American people. Because hospitals and insurance companies get away with hiding their prices from all of us, and literally they can charge whatever they want. You know, it's like you sign up and say, yes, I'll pay. But you had an executive order where you created a federal rule forcing hospitals and insurers to publish all their prices.
Yep.
So that people would be able to know, okay, if an MRI costs $600 here and it's $5,000 there, then I can go here and save myself money.
Right. Biden got away with it.
Hospitals and insurance companies, they're still not showing their prices.
They hated it.
Of course they did.
And because it would have made it very competitive. And Biden let it go. He never enforced it. And to get that approved was a big deal. And that would have brought down the price of
so many things.
Not only, just care, physical care, mental care. That would have brought down the cost of care by 50, 60%. And Biden and Kamala didn't press it. It was a big thing to get it.
Especially because one of the leading causes of bankruptcy in America is medical debt. I mean, that's crazy. And I don't even think I made that up either.
No, it's when you think of it, at first when you said it, I said, wow. And then I'm thinking about it. I said, it's really not a wow. I understand it.
Yeah.